What about the ducks in the garden?
The duck.
And the chickens.
The ducks and the chickens. They are both my pest control and pests in themselves. The ducks are really great. They tend to eat a lot of the bugs that are kind of those pest bugs. So like those little green cucumber beetles, earwigs.
Oh, earwigs. Oh.
They're on patrol all the time. However, they also like to eat the plants.
But as you said, the their pool water is great.
Yeah, so
nutrients for the plants.
Exactly. Ducks.
What about their poo?
Their poo. So the pool water is their poo water.
That's where they poo.
That's where they poo. It is not considered hot, so it can immediately go on.
Nice.
And then it's also, I've heard some people fertilize their cannabis with it and insist that it creates the best cannabis flower when the time comes. So we've been trying to work it in just to save water too. I mean, we fill up their big pools, try to dump them strategically. I think we've got like 4 pools out here for them, 10 ducks.
And Kelley, you're a master gardener too.
I am a master gardener through the Monterey Bay Master Gardeners chapter, if you will, through UCA&R. My spiel on being a master gardener is that it is really great to get science-backed information for plants. We really focus on, because we're in the state of California, we're really focused on sustainability, which can at times be at odds with dahlias, though I try to do it in the most sustainable way possible. We focus a lot on just water tolerant California natives, really fun things like that. We also volunteer in the community. And I will put a plug out there for everybody. Each county should have a Master Gardener chapter. If you have plant questions, we are here to help and answer your questions. So find the hotline that they have or the email service that's provided through Master Gardeners and ask us questions, because that is what we are here for, literally.
We'll put a link to Master Gardeners for Monterey Bay. It's Monterey, Santa Cruz, and San Benito combined.
Correct. Tri-County area. A new class is starting this year, which I believe you applied for. I hope you applied for.
I applied.
Okay.
I applied.
It's very
and
exciting.
I have my information meeting. So what are the steps after that? Once you get the information and go to that meeting, what happens after that? So
you will go to your information meeting. It's really just about the requirements and kind of what to expect, right? So as master gardeners, we are required to volunteer in the community. So the first year is very heavy. It is 50 hours of volunteer time within the community. That being said, my day job is in marketing communications. I work on the Master Gardener website, and that's how I got my hours. You can also volunteer kind of in person, but it's really about the educational requirements and what your volunteer time is going to look at to maintain your status as a master gardener. Following that first initial meeting, you will interview with some lovely master gardeners, and it's really just to make sure that they want people who are committed to giving back to the community. That's truly the purpose. It's great educationally, but because they're offering this course, if you will, at a lower cost, it's knowing that you are getting this education in turn to help the public.
And to use like a gardening metaphor, you're planting that seed.
Exactly.
And it's growing and
exactly.
Able to share.
That's exactly what it is. And share the right information, right? Because we all have the wives' tales and all of these things. And while I love them and still abide by many of them, it's not necessarily always science-backed. So Master Gardeners is so focused on giving you the right information. You work with crop advisors who are some of the leading scientists in the area. It's really amazing. They'll teach your classes. So again, after you do the interview, you then get accepted, or I believe the cohort is 50 people, or maybe around 60. So that will be the next class. Mm-hmm. And then of course it's like about 6 months of classes, 8-hour classes on Saturdays, give or take. But it's really amazing because you hang out with 50 other gardeners on a Saturday. That's not a bad thing.
Yeah. You can turn around and use that information
exactly
to teach other people as you apply it.
Yeah. So I have gone through their advanced IPM training, so integrated pest management, which is really great. What is also great about a master gardener is after your first year of 50 hours of volunteer time, it goes down to 25 hours of volunteer time and 12 hours of continuing education. So like next week, I'm in a class on Monday about wildfires.
Okay.
And I mean, obviously, neighbor's house caught on fire the other day.
Oh.
Worry about that stuff out here with all these
Sure,
eucalyptus.
dry. I mean, all of California and other states
Yeah.
that get dry seasons like this.
So you're getting things like that. I would say too, like master gardeners are really good at tracking invasive species and trying to keep them out. There was a recent news story about master gardeners and their efforts to keep the tree of heaven, which is really invasive, out of California, and tracking that. So there's tons of cool projects that you can get involved with depending on what feels good to you.
Yeah, and I think that as consumers, we go out, say, to box stores and buy a plant and
Yes.
thinking that that's research has already been done on that plant and they wouldn't be selling it if it's invasive.
Yes.
That's not true.
That's not true.
I found out the hard way with Mexican feathergrass, which took over my garden.
Yes.
And I took it out, but I'm still dealing with the plugs coming up everywhere. Yep. And there's some grasses that do reseed and are manageable, like blue fescue. I grew from seed and it will pop up. But it's easy to manage.
Yeah.
Like if you don't want it growing somewhere.
Yeah.
But the Mexican feathergrass I found was just a nightmare, and I'm still pulling it out of pots, pulling it out of the ground.
Yeah, I had that. It's like horsetail. Do you know what I'm talking about? The little cane type things that took over an entire property that I lived at one time. It's probably still there.
Yeah. So there's just because it's selling in a nursery.
Yes.
Don't make sure that you do the research on that plant to find out if it's invasive or not.
Yeah.
Talk to other gardeners in your area and find out if they have any knowledge of that too.
Yeah.
Or contact the Master Gardeners program.
Yeah.
There is an Ask a Master Gardener.
Ask a Master Gardener is always available. It's a free service. There are people, brilliant gardeners that are dedicated to answering your questions. Also, the California Native Plant Society is pretty active in our area in terms of plant sales. Also, buy from your master gardeners.
Yes,
there's
healthy plants.
Entire team dedicated to propagation year-round for California natives, and of course vegetables, because we work with vegetables.
Plant sales in the fall and the spring.
Exactly. So buy there. It's a good deal.
Great healthy
good plants.
Yeah, they're grown in beautiful soil.
Yes.
And really stand the test of time. In my garden, I've bought the plants that I grew in the fall, and that's my favorite planting time for perennials and long-lasting plants is in the fall because you get the cooler ground and you start to get towards the end moisture.
Yes,
rain.
Exactly.
We like long for rain.
Yeah.
But the Master Gardeners program is absolutely fabulous. I'll put a link in the description of the video to the Master Gardeners program here locally, and if you're not local, you can Google Master Gardeners program. There will be a site that comes up and you can put your zip code in and it will direct you to the closest one to you.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, so digging and dividing. So like I told you, my week is really that week. So I want everything out of the ground by the Thanksgiving week. So probably the week prior, I'll have it out, rinsed off, and cut down. The next thing that I do is divide. My husband's kind of looked into the best way to do it, carpal tunnel. And there is kind of this tool that helps me divide. It's I believe some kind of plunger attached to a drill.
Okay.
So it helps divide without having to do like really hard work with it. Like dividing knives are kind of like paring knives, but this is kind of a mechanical system. So when you divide, you're really looking to, the way I do it, which might not be right for everybody, but when I divide, I look to get a certain amount of tubers out of a clump. So if it's a healthy clump, then I'll aim for 5 tubers that are salvageable.
Do you have to pull tubers out and divide them every year?
No, you don't have to if you don't want to. A lovely colleague of mine lives over on Strawberry, so one street over. She's kept hers in the ground for years.
But in other climates, probably you would,
In
because
other
of cold.
climates, yes.
But here, no.
Here, no. We're lucky that we're not getting those kind of freezes that would kill the dahlias or that kind of like intense moisture. They can rot in the ground. That's more common of an issue, I find, rather than like the freeze. So if it's too wet and there's not adequate drainage, they'll rot. But I've had a lot of people that I know that just keep them in the ground year round, and that's perfectly fine. It's kind of like succulents. If you want more, then you take cuttings or you divide. That's how you do it. If you don't want more and you're happy with what you have, then you can certainly
Absolutely don't, unless you live in a cold climate where
exactly.
it freezes a lot. And
just let it go. But yeah, I have friends in New Mexico with dahlias. They of course dig and divide and store. But here we're really lucky. It's entirely up to us.
Yeah, we get the drought though. So
yes, this is true. Yeah, we get the drought.
So it's like and gophers.
And gophers.
Every garden has its thing, but
yeah.
That was good because I had somebody ask me that, wanted to know, do you have to pull them up and divide them?
Yeah, entirely based on your zone. And I would consult with the American Dahlia Society for your specific zone. We are in 9B. I don't know if we're still 9B because I know it changed or something.
I think it is still 9B here.
Okay. So here I pull them up, but again, that's only because I divide them for more plants for me.
And do you sell tubers too? Or no?
I will. It depends entirely. If I ever see signs of disease, then I'm really hesitant to sell because I try to be really cognizant of what I'm introducing into the community. I do sell cuttings. They are purchased cuttings, so just cuttings that I buy from a larger vendor. I believe we sold about 200 of them early spring.
Oh, wow.
So a lot of people got set up with dahlias from me. That being said, they weren't from my plants. They were ones that I purchased, kind of took what I wanted and needed.
And is that legal?
Yes.
Unless somebody has it, there's copy. I don't know how.
Unless it's trademarked, then we can sell them.
So if it's trademarked, you can't do that.
Trademarks, yeah, you don't want to sell trademarked plants. There's been a lot of dahlia drama on that topic. My personal philosophy is I am working to only, even though I do have some of the trademarked varieties and I do have kind of those unicorns, I don't want to do that. I think that it should be accessible to most people or all people if they want it. So I'm going to get rid of those this year and focus on open market because really I want everybody to be able to enjoy dahlias without the high price tag.
Is there, besides having more plants, is there a benefit to dividing? Will they bloom more if you divide them?
No, really if you leave them in the ground, you'll start getting kind of a monster plant. So it's going to be, a great monster, but it's going to be a big plant. The tubers are going to keep going, and with that, you'll have more stems that come up. When you're dividing and you're starting with just one tuber, depending on how many eyes that tuber has, you'll get sprouts. Okay. So there's really no benefit. It's about what you want for next year, right? And we're all addicted to like more and more and more like flowers.
What if you have a dahlia plant that is leafing out but not producing any buds? Have you ever come across that? I have one.
Interesting. Okay, my initial inkling would be it has to do with food.
Okay, so try feeding it.
Feed it.
And is it too late at this point? We're in August to start trying to get blooms?
No, because I have things out here that are blooming for the first time, like seen today. Because the ducks and chickens, I have a lot of disruption in the beds because they'll get over there sometimes. So I have things that are really late to start. I have a lot of friends that are farmers kind of more on the East Coast or like Midwest. Some of those people are getting their first blooms like right now.
Yeah, we're so far ahead of a lot of the gardeners in the States.
Yeah.
Our spring will be over way soon.
Yeah.
And we're watching gardening channels or whatever, and they're full, and we're like,
they're enjoying it.
Yeah. Because the summers are not fun here. You have a beautiful garden because of the dahlias that you grow, cosmos, and you're really showing us what you can have during the summer,
Yeah.
because I don't have that in the summer. I don't
Yeah.
know that I could have that much because of the water needs.
Yes.
Because I try to reserve,
Yeah,
to
yeah.
be sensible.
Yes.
However, McCann has made me not be too sensible
It's
this year. It's a
it's
trade-off, but you have to
really
decide
is.
what you really love.
Yeah.
But you're very much tempting me to
Oh yeah.
do more
Yeah.
dahlias.
And I will say, in regards to kind of the native plants and water conservation, I am working on an area, so I'm hoping to get the other side, kind of behind where we are right now, established with kind of leucadendrons, low water stuff, native sages, things like that. I don't know where I heard it. It was probably in Master Gardeners, but it was have at least 10 to 20% of your yard be natives. If you're not going fully into it, like try to support that ecosystem.
I do have like some that come up, as annuals every year because they reseed, like baby blue eyes, which I love.
Yes.
And, just different, well, obviously the California poppies, but other poppies like the pink one that's like the California, that one is a really pretty one
gorgeous.
that comes up every year. But don't know that one's native. I know the California poppies obviously are the golden, but so I have a few of the natives that come up, and I absolutely adore them.
Yeah.
To get that 20% though is hard.
Yes.
And, maybe with annuals you can do it for a time. I like some of the ones that I've bought of the natives, just it seems like it's so hard to get them going.
Yeah. Another thing, again, we're full of random knowledge as master gardeners, but I've really heard that some of these native plants shine on their second or third year. So
that's a lot like perennials, though.
Yeah.
There's a lot. I tell people, don't give up if that one is not looking good in year one, and just so year two.
Yeah.
Usually it's year three, and that
it really
especially with salvias and sages.
Yeah, that big salvia. Well, it has dents in it from where the ducks climb in. That was a tiny plant that I bought from Master Gardeners.
And those are wonderful plants and easy to propagate.
So easy. We just
hummingbirds love them.
Grabbed a piece, stuck it in the ground right there, and now I have another one.
That's all you have to do.
Yeah, but
Second sage is wonderful.
I love the salvias. I am trying to get more of the salvias in the garden just for the sake of having, we didn't even talk about this, but I love the look and feel of a cottage garden. And how can I
share that too?
Yeah.
I wish I could have that year round. It's just, and I know there are people that are talented enough to achieve that in California, but I'm not yet.
No, it's hard. It's very hard.
But
and
I like succulents too, and so I like my agaves and my aloes, and they, my aloes are some of my most beautiful blooms, honestly.
Yeah. No, they
are.
are.
They start because the different varieties bloom different times.
Yeah.
So they start April, May, June, July, and then I have some reblooms in August.
See, and that's wonderful. And I would tell you, between you and Robert, I've been falling back in love with them. Like, Robert gave me cuttings of his agave. They're cool. I mean, they're cool and they add whimsy. In my opinion, it's some of the forms that they take add whimsy.
The aloes have beautiful blooms, and the structure of the aloes that is really what I like. I like this clump brown ball, but the leaves, can be variegated and some beautiful colors. And so, I'm getting older.
Yeah.
And I talked about this in one of my recent videos, is that what I call the spiral section of my garden, which is towards the back, I want it to just be low to no water.
Yeah.
And, originally I wanted that cottage garden, and it does look really beautiful in
the
spring around there, but year round I can't keep that up over there. It's just too much watering and too much maintenance.
Yeah.
And so that's why I'm doing that. I'm getting older, and so I want closer to the house to be more of that cottage
and
garden
accessible.
now.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a slow transition to change that, and I'm not, if I get into the Master Gardeners program, I'm not going to have the time to be putting into the garden because of the studying and the classes and the involvement.
Then you're going to walk away.
But, those aloes and agaves and cactus have some of the most beautiful blooms in the world. They're just gorgeous.
They do.
And, some people don't like that desert kind of look. But I think that you can marry it with some perennials and,
You can.
and really make it look amazing.
Yeah.
So,
And I would say,
I love
like,
the designing
yeah,
part of
that's
my garden. When I ran out of blank slate up at the top, I
Yeah.
was like,
now what?
because I
Yeah.
love that. That's
Yeah.
part. That was like
No.
I just love doing the landscaping,
Yeah.
the hardscaping, I never sit down with a piece of paper and draw out
Yeah.
like you see.
Oh,
And
that's
I can
funny. That's
see,
what I do
I can
too.
see
Yeah.
the benefit in that.
Yeah.
But it kind of shapes in my mind as I go,
Yeah.
and I get ideas and visions, and
Same thing.
and it morphs, and
Yeah.
that's like one of my favorite things is that transition from
Yeah.
blank to beautiful.
Yeah, and this was a blank slate when we moved in. There were 2 wooden beds here.
Well, you
that
have
was
the
it.
perfect place too because you do get some shade,
Yeah,
and then you do get for your dahlias and your cosmos that full sun,
the nice sun.
as well.
Exactly.
So you get kind of a mix.
Yeah.
Mine is full sun.
Yeah, you got sun.
Yeah,
Sun.
it's out there, and I'm trying to get that shade,
Yeah.
some shade, but it takes a while, especially if you're
Yeah.
trying to grow trees or something.
Yeah.
It's
Agree.
gonna be a while.
Well, even I think your microclimate, I think where we are, I would tell you that there's like probably 5 or 6 different microclimates just in Prunedale and
That
how
is
we're laid out.
amazing.
And you're on the hot one, like,
Yeah, it is.
more sun and
Yeah.
it's warmer, and we're exactly 5 miles from Moss Landing Harbor right here, like as we stand. So that fog comes in, and I would honestly tell you last week was the first full sun week that we had.
Well, it's been that way over there too. Way over
yeah,
there.
yeah.
Across the highway.
Yeah.
That's what we Prunedale people say, across
Yeah.
the highway, way over across the highway. Or like we're segregated or something.
Yeah, like,
But,
no,
it's been like days of just kind
Gloom.
of gloomy, doomy. Not used to that because the past few summers we've
Nice.
had really a lot of sun.
Yeah,
So in a way, I was kind of glad
yeah,
because it gives the garden a break
Yeah.
from that extreme.
yeah.
But it doesn't help with the dryness because it's still dry.
Still dry. Yep.
Even you get that wet fog in the morning, it's not enough.
It's never
to
enough.
moisten the
Yeah.
ground. Besides
Yeah.
like this much.
It's enough to
okay
give
for
you
succulents,
powdery
but-
mildew,
Exactly.
but not much else.
Oh, the joys. But
yeah.
you're right. There are a lot of climates,
Yeah.
and look at, where Robert is up on the hill, and with so much shade, and that just makes a
Yeah.
difference too. When you
No,
have that
agree.
shade and that, it's a shelter.
Yeah,
It's a shelter
Yeah.
from the heat, and so he has that just about all of his
Almost all
property,
shade,
almost
yeah.
all, yeah.
nice.
So it's interesting, and then you have Maribel and
Yeah.
Ed, and
And they've got a nice clear space. I think that's
They
what I like
do.
about their property, is that clear where the sun can in fact reach it, because
yeah,
they're
the
not
great
covered
oak
by
tree,
trees.
and,
Yeah.
can grow under that, and
Yeah.
they've planted some pines. I bought some California pines,
Nice.
native pines from Ed, who
Nice.
had pulled them up out of the ground and potted them. And so I bought 3
Nice.
and planted those in the garden, and they're putting on new growth. It's great when you see
nice.
new growth.
Yeah.
I mean, because you
That's
worry
what you
about
live
your
for.
plants, like they start to yellow, the bottom
Yeah.
leaves, and sometimes it's just natural.
Yeah.
But if you see that new growth at the top, then you know that plant is okay.
Yeah. I just pulled a houseplant out of the garbage at work yesterday because of that. I was like, why is someone throwing this away? It's putting off a new leaf.
Maribel and I have in the works to do a video on houseplants.
Oh, yeah.
That's one, but there's something much more important, is that her testimony. She has a wonderful testimony that she shared with me, and I want to bring that into it because it's into a video, because it's about how gardening can play a part in healing
Yeah.
and restoration of
Oh,
the soul,
yeah.
and in combination with her faith.
Yeah.
And so that's the next one I want to do
That's
with Maribel,
nice.
because it's a great story, and I just love things that people can get that story and just feel
Yeah.
boosted by it, and feel like, yes,
Yeah.
I can do this. Yes,
Yeah.
I can face this. And,
Yeah.
gardening can help. So
I
I'm excited about it.
fully agree. I'd just say, like, gardening and spirituality, I think, are intertwines.
Oh,
It doesn't matter
absolutely.
what faith you come from. I think
there's no coincidence that all of the
yes,
faiths have metaphors and
yes,
stories, fables about seeds
yes.
and about leaves and about flowers and
It's
vines,
yeah.
and there's a reason for it, because we
No.
learn. So that's why I named my channel Garden Discovery, is because you're constantly
Yeah.
discovering
Something.
about the garden, plants,
Yeah.
people, yourself.
Yeah.
Every day you're in the garden,
Yeah.
and
No,
it's so
it's
therapeutic.
I would tell you it's the only time I can turn my mind off
Yeah.
and just really be present. And I do get weird in the winter because I don't have a winter garden. But I just dream about the spring and summer garden out here. But it just keeps me really present and it makes me feel connected to the earth, to people. I mean, people that I meet, like you, like everybody that I meet through this, I'm connected to. But to feel connected to like this particular spot,
Yeah.
I think it's a
Well,
little heaven.
I feel like we were meant to meet.
Oh yeah, are we
That
gonna do our
it
story?
wasn't
We got to do our story.
it wasn't a mistake that we met, because
No.
for a couple of years I at Starbucks, I do my Starbucks almost every morning, and for a couple of years I would go and and it started one time where I took a drink of my pre-ordered cup,
Yep.
and I'm like, this, I told the baristas, I'm like, this doesn't taste right.
That is 6
And
shots
they're
of
like,
just
oh, there's
espresso.
another Kelley. And I go, yeah. And she spells her name the same way. And they're like,
Yes.
yes.
So
I'm like, you're kidding me. And they're like,
Kelley.
yes.
Yes, I didn't believe it either. And then one day I went in and you had gotten my drink. And I was like, well, wait, that's not my drink, even though it says Kelley. And then it was like the meeting of the Kelleys.
Yes.
And then I don't know what I even saw you post on, but then I was like, wait, she's into gardening too?
Then it became a little freaky.
Yeah, and then it became weird, and I felt like she thought I was going to single white woman her or whatever, but it wasn't that.
Well, her name is Catherine. Kelley goes by Kelley,
Yes.
E-Y,
Yes.
Kelley. But another oddity
Yes,
is that
the birthdays.
the birthdays, but my granddaughter's name is Catherine.
Yes. See?
And then and it goes on. My mom's birthday came up, and I posted on Facebook about happy birthday to the best mom
Yes.
ever. And Kelley, you messaged me and said
It's my mom's birthday too, right? It was
our moms
6/22. Moms share a birthday, and my mom, I will say this every time I get the chance, she was the best person ever. Love her more than anything, and she is why I do all of this. So it was kind of just a cool coincidence, and
it was meant to happen.
I think
were
it was meant to happen.
meet, and then you shared that you're a master gardener, and I've
Yes.
been interested in a couple of years now
Yeah.
of becoming. And they only do the master gardeners program once every 2 years.
Every 2 years.
So I've been waiting all this time, and so to be able to have another master gardener contact that I can kind of discuss with, the whole how it works,
program
and what was your experience.
Yes.
And then just to be able to share your garden
Yeah.
is just a fabulous thing.
It's
and
been
now I
fun.
want to grow dahlias.
Yeah, no, now you are. So when I dig and divide, you're getting tubers. So I hope you know. Yeah. Remember who you liked, and you'll get all the tubers.